What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing tonight? Third video. Look, I gotta come clean a little bit. Remember how I said this was all gonna be about any range of topics and stuff like that, but mostly cars and sports. Yeah, forget the sports and everything else talk. We just gonna be focusing talking about cars, whatever kind of cars you want to talk about. We can talk about, like I said before. Hit me up in the comments section. Let's just get started right into this new topic that I want to talk about today. I was thinking last night about the Porsche 911 and how there's this new redesign that's come out just for this year, and let me tell you, it looks really impressive. I mean, of course, the front really doesn't look much different, but the rear taillights and the LEDs and everything like that makes the 911 look really nice. And from what I've seen through test drives, people really tend to like it a little bit. I mean, it's been seemed to be a better car if that was even possible, because everyone knows that apparently the Porsche 911 is one of the better, probably if not the best handling car out there. There's probably a little to no argument out there. If you want a real driver's car, stuff like that, get a 911 in whatever 20 variants they have. I mean, let's not get into that. I mean, we're talking. Alright, fine, we'll get into it. There's like about 15 different versions of the 911 out there. I mean, I actually could probably name them all off at one point. I'm not that good at it anymore, but I think at one point there was, let's see, you have the 911, you have the regular standard Carrera, which I believe at the time, I think the horsepower is raised a little bit this year for the new Carrera. They claim it as an inventory list, but there's the new Carrera with about 360 horsepower, or now about 380 now with the new V6. There is the Carrera S, which has about now 400 horsepower. And then the convertible versions of those. Then you have the 911. Then you had the 911 GTS, which was basically a Carrera S, but a little bit more hardcore. Then you have the GTS convertible. Then you have the Turbo, which is probably one of the best sports cars out there compared to a 911 GTR, 911 Turbo S, and those two are convertibles. Then you have the ridiculously hardcore two-wheel drive version of the 911 Turbo, which is all-wheel drive, the 911 GT2 or GT2 RS. The GT2 RS has about 630 something horsepower. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think about 630, 0 to 60 really, really fast, and 0 to 60 really, really fast. And then there's the track day, and there's the ones that are basically essentially what you would love to drive around a track for one day, the 911 GT3 and the old GT3 RS or the RS 4.0, which are all great cars. Now, the problem is, of course, you're not going to be able to really tell the difference if you're driving down the highway and you see a 911 and you just go, oh, hey, it's a 911. I mean, I've learned to be trained to the eye, so it's like, luckily I've been guessing, and every time I see a 911, I just go, hey, that's actually a Carrera 4 or a Carrera 4S. Oops, sorry, I forgot to mention those in the list, sorry. Difference between regular Carrera and Carrera S and a Carrera 4 and a 4S is, therefore, Carrera 4s obviously stand for four-wheel drive. The other ones are two-wheel drive. GTS, I believe, is four-wheel drive. Turbos or Turbo S's are both four-wheel drive. As I mentioned before, all the GT ones are basically two-wheel drive cars. Yes, they are two doors. Duh. But as I was saying before, the new 911 looks really good and impressive. I mean, don't get me wrong, the 911's always been a very impressive car, but people always kind of complain, well, the styling hasn't changed, everything's the same, blah, blah, blah. Porsche's probably got some of the laziest designers out there. I mean, the 911 really didn't change for like a long time, but now this new 991 they've designed looks really, really good, and the performance has been amazing for the money. I mean, they've added a little bit more power. I believe it's 0 to 60 now with the new 7-speed PDK in there. It's under 4 seconds, and now they're offering here in America a 7-speed manual version, which honestly kind of feels a little much. I mean, 6-speed manuals are fine enough as is. I don't drive stick, but I can't imagine a 7-speed manual being exactly prime, but it's Porsche being different. It's Porsche being different, and naturally, that's completely fine. Porsche wants to go that route. That's good for them. But personally, in my opinion, I think a 7-speed manual may be a little too much. I guess I have to physically go test drive one to see how that actually plays into effect. Seeing the interior, if you've ever seen the inside of a Panamera, the 4-door version, kind of looks like that same kind of design. And steering wheel, there's either the regular like buttons on the steering wheel that you're able to use instead of paddles. They do offer the paddles as an option, really, but personally I'd go the paddle route instead of the button route. It probably looks a little bit confusing with the PDK versions, but other than that, that's about it. But honestly, if you're looking for a real 911, you're probably better off getting waiting to see the turbo that'll probably come out, if not this summer, probably around this time next year. So I'll be definitely looking to see how the 911 Turbo does against the new competition, especially with the new GTR upping the power, the AMGs coming in, and stuff of that nature. And that's basically how I feel about the Porsche 911. Like I said before, if you guys have any other topics or any other cars that you want me to talk about, review, if I've even had the pleasure of test driving them, etc., etc., just hit me up in the comment section. If not, hopefully everybody has a good night, and I'll see you with a new video next week. Later.